guys, my name is Jessica Grandidier. I'm a dog trainer in Melbourne, and today I'm going to show you my daily training routine I do with my two dogs. This was actually a request from my clients, so yeah, I'm just going to show you a few ideas. I want to give you a few ideas of what you can do with your dog when you are on your daily walk. Please notice that my two dogs are very different. So I have a short hair collie. So this is Watson. He's 6. Are you 6 or 7 already? And he's on a much different obedience level than Sydney. Sydney. Sit. So this is Sydney. He's a Whippet, and he's just a bit over 1 year old. So of course they are much different obedience levels, and because they are different breeds, they have I have to do different training sessions with them. So I'm going to explain this further later in the video, and for this video I'm going to do a voiceover.
Mama?
Okay, so for this video I'm going to do a voiceover because I have to wear a mask, and it's just very complicated to do like a video with voice in the park. Go. So yeah, I'm going to do a voiceover. Okay, so let's start. Let's go. Okay, so the first step of the training is actually when you put your dog in the car. You should have an idea, like a ritual, what you want from your dog when you put them inside the car. So for today's purpose, because we're just driving around the corner, I just bring them into the back of the car. So please, if you drive longer, make sure to secure your dogs properly with a leash, and if you have questions about that, you can ask me what you can use to secure your dogs in the car.
Mama?
Okay, so first thing for me is I want them to jump into the car, and then I'm going to leash them. Yeah, that's it. I don't have further rituals. Of course, if you want, you can let them sit down first or lie down first, whatever you want. So just going to open that. Wait, wait, wait. Hop. Watson, hop.
Ich habe ein bisschen Sonnencreme aufgetaked.
So what I do is I want them to wait until I allow them to jump into the car. That's the only thing, because I don't want them to jump out of the car without me allowing them to. So I'm not letting them jump into the car without me giving them the signal to go into the car, whatever signal you want. So it could be a finger, a snap, or a verbal command, whatever you want to use. So now I'm going to leash them. What's very important is that your dogs are not super excited about being leashed on or off. So I'm going to do a separate video about leashing and unleashing. So you can see they're not super excited, not jumping around or whatever. So I'm going to start with Watson. With Watson I'm using a harness. Leash on. If you have a dog that is a heavy puller on the leash, please do not use a harness, because harnesses are made for pulling, you know. So, but this is another topic. And for Sydney, I'm just going to use a very simple leash. I love this leash because it's so easy to put on and off. And because it's a sling and I don't want him to strangle him, it has this security item here, so even if he pulls, he cannot get strangled. And with Whippets, you have they have so thin necks that you really need special collars that fit really well, otherwise they can slip out of it, and this is very dangerous because they're sight hunters, and it's yeah, if they see a cat or whatever on the street, it's very likely that they're going to hunt it. So make sure you have something that fits really well. Just put this around. Okay, good boys. So you can give them a treat if you do, if you're done, but you don't have to, of course. And now close. Good, now we can go. Okay, hi. As you can see, I'm in my office and I'm editing the video, and I just now realized that the next section of this video, the sound quality is so bad that I decided to go in with the voiceover a little bit earlier. So yeah, the wind was just super strong and you couldn't hear me talking, you could just hear the wind. This is why I decided to start the voiceover. So you're going to see me talking, but you're going to hear me talking like here in front of the microphone, okay? So yeah, let's go. So here I'm talking about how you let your dogs out of the car. I don't have a very complicated ritual at all. The most important thing here is that the dogs are not just jumping out of the car, because that would be dangerous. So I really want to have a structure here, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, opening the car. Now I'm telling my dogs to wait. As you can see, I have my arm here, so just for security measures, they cannot just jump out. Now I'm taking my time to collect the leashes. My command here is a simple wait. You can use whatever you want. Now I gave permission with a go, and now I tell my dogs to wait. Again, telling Watson to sit down, and now I'm grabbing everything I want to have for the walk and take my time closing the car. I don't like when my dogs are, as soon as they're out of the car, going, sniffing. Oh, he stood up. I have to bring him back. If you tell a dog to sit, he should really wait until you tell him to do anything else. Now you could see that in my body language that I was giving permission to get. So, hi, here I am again. The next section is just 7 seconds long, and that's a bit too short to explain what's going on. So the next section is going to be about crossing the street. What you're going to see is I do not let my dog sit down. I don't think it's necessary. What I think is necessary is that before the dogs are crossing the street, I want them to be focused on me and not on the park or on another dog on the other side of the street. If you want to let your dog sit down before crossing the street, there's nothing wrong about that. It's really great for security purposes. So do whatever you like. You're just going to see me not letting my dog sit down, but I want them to stop. So my command before crossing the street is stop. And then I wait, and because I taught my dogs to look at me, or especially Watson, you will see, look at me. So they're going to check my sign language and wait until I say go. So my commands are stop, then I'm checking the streets, and then I say go when the streets are clear. Okay, let's go. Okay, so before we're going into the actual training in the park, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what my dogs are, like how my dogs are, what's the difference, and why I'm doing the training like I actually do it. So as I explained in the beginning of the video, I have 2 different breeds. You can see that. So one is a short hair collie, the Watson, and the other one, Sydney, is a Whippet. So a short hair collie belongs to the shepherd dogs, right? So a shepherd dog is, with his personality, very different from a Whippet. A shepherd dog usually is really up to doing work, and a Whippet is basically all about running. And also the motivation level of my dogs and what they are motivated with is very different. So if you want to do training with your dog, you first have to get to know more about the dog's breed. This is a different video, so I'm not going to dive further into that. But it's really important that you know about the breed that your dog is and what they are made for. Know a little bit about the history of the breed, you know. The second thing is to get you to know what motivates your dog. Like, for example, Watson is very food motivated and Sydney is very play motivated. I'm going to explain that in the training section afterwards. And you can really see the difference when you watch closely. And the next thing you have to consider, so the third thing you have to consider, is the motivation level. So if you have a dog that is very food motivated, it can still be that if you choose a food that has that is too high in value, that the dog gets so excited about that food. For example, a sausage. Okay, he gets so excited about it that he can't work anymore. Like, think about children. If they get really hyped up about something, you can't control them. They have so much energy and it all needs to go out, and they're not able to focus anymore. So it's not just thinking about what motivates my dog. It's also, you have to think about how high should the motivation level be so that my dog is motivated but not overly motivated, so you can still concentrate on the work task. This is why I'm using treats. So my training is reward based, but I'm usually not using overly exciting treats for my dogs. It's simply not necessary. And another thing is that my dogs never get anything to eat before I walk them in the morning. So they get their breakfast after I walk them, which ensures that they are hungry. And because I have food, my value for them is higher. So make sure when you want to train with your dog that you have a high value for them. If not, then maybe other dogs are much more interesting than you are. And you have a much harder time doing training with them. Okay, now we're in the park. Dog says hello. My dogs are still on leash. Now I'm going to let Watson sit down, taking the leash off. Please do not take the leash off if you're not sure that your dog will stay with you. Now I let him look, and then I tell him to go, even though he's staying because he wants to work. Now I take Sydney's collar off, and now I'm just letting him run. So this is for the whippet. I basically let him run a lot because he needs to get to run. Now I'm going to motivate Watson a little bit because I want him to play ball. I bring him into a heel. The heel was not good enough, so now he's offering me a little bit of different variations, going into a down. Now he gets a treat. And Sydney's turn. I'm going to mock him a little bit here, which is always a good thing to do to get your dog better concentrated on you. So you act like you're throwing your ball, but you don't. So he has to focus on you a little bit more. Now I want Watson to pick up the ball, but because I have two balls with me, because he's actually more interested in sniffing at some spot, and well, I'll let him do his thing. At the start of the training I go easy, so my main goal here is really to let them get energy out of the system so they can be good, focused and motivated, concentrated with me. Now I'm letting Watson pick the ball up, and good job, and he gets a treat. So you see that Sydney is really just interested in catching the ball. He's not interested in getting a treat. Now I let him sit down, and just if he sits down and is calm, I'm going to throw the ball. And Watson is picking up the ball, retrieving, very important part for me in obedience training. Sit down, gets a treat. Very good. And Watson's job actually is to sit and wait until I give him further command. And he's always in work mode, so now I'm letting him retrieve a ball. And you can see the difference here. So when Watson is retrieving the ball, then he gets a treat. And when Sydney is retrieving a ball, I just take the ball and I throw it again. And he's not getting a treat because he doesn't want to. What he wants is that the game goes on. If you take too much time, then he starts to jump and he doesn't want a pat, he doesn't want to hear a praise. He just wants to have the game on, keep the game going. Now Watson does not want to retrieve the ball. I motivate him a little bit and here he goes. So body language is very important with your dog as well, to motivate them, to calm them down. You can use your voice, you can use your body language. And now he's back into sitting, waiting. Let him go heel. This is part of obedience training. The heel was not good enough, so I correct him and he gets a treat. So he just gets a treat if I'm really happy. Bring him into a down, bring him into a sit and stand. Then he gets a reward. So he's not getting a reward after every step. Going back into heel. And now I teach him to go in, which is part of dog dancing. Going down, going back into sit, giving the paw, and then he gets a treat and go. Okay, now we're moving forward. I want my dogs to follow here, but in no particular order. They don't have to walk heel or anything, but I want them to stay close. And not running away towards other dogs or something. Now I'm going to throw the ball for Sydney. I keep him running. And this was a fail. I'm so bad at throwing the ball. Okay, next try. And Watson is waiting as always. He loves to work, but you know, he's already 6 years old, so we had a lot of time to do training. Let him turn, and again, he loves that exercise, always waiting for it. Now I tell him to wait, and I tell him stop, wait, then I go away, and if I say yes, he's allowed to follow. So yes is my verbal marker for my dogs they can leave their position and they get a reward. I'm calling Sydney here because he ran to the car and I didn't want him to bother the man working there. I wanted him to sit down here, but I offered even a treat. He was not interested in the treat. And when I throw it away and tell him to search for it, then he was interested. Doing it again. Sydney actually loves to search for things, so he loves to use his nose, and Watson too. Nose work is a very important part of dog training. I would always teach my dog to search for something. Man trailing, for example, is very good with dogs to do. Now I'm doing the turn while running. I love to do obedience training sections in different speed levels. Also walking heel, for example, in a very slow pace or very fast pace. Now I'm doing the wait again, but this time in a down. And this time I'm not telling him to come, but I walk around him and then go back to him and give him a treat, which is a very important part of weight training, to go back to the dog so that he really understands what weight means. I would always start like this. And yeah. That's it for this part. Oh yeah, and there have been other dogs. I just wanted to show that my dogs are not running off. Even so, other dogs are in the park. And here, Sydney should not take the ball. He should wait until I take the ball. I'm still working on that. So after a little drink break, we continue to walk, and this is a part where my dogs do not have to follow. I let them just do whatever they want. You can see Watson sniffing. Sydney is not a big sniffer. He's really mostly interested in staying with me. That's part of his personality and it's not because I trained him to always stay with me. I enjoy this short parts of my dog walk because I can relax a little bit. But I always keep an eye on my dogs, especially in dog parks. There are children, older people. You know, I'm always want to have my dogs in close reach, and yeah, and they really enjoy it. You can see. Now I'm just turning direction. This kind of movements make me more interesting for the dogs, you know. So they have to check where I am. If my dogs are very unconcentrated and not interested in me anymore, sometimes I hide behind a tree or something and wait until they find me. Here I did another wait with Watson. Later you're going to see me doing a wait with Sydney as well. And here I'm doing the search game. You can use, for example, a command like get it. And the main exercise here is that they go away, get the treat, and then they come back. So this is really this, you go away from me and then you come back. And I don't have to call them back. They're just coming back because they want more. It's a fun game for them. And the second positive part about that is that they use their nose, which tires them out. And having a walk like this for 30 minutes, it's much has a much higher impact on the dog than doing 2 hours of walking on leash, you know, which is just boring, and the dog is not using his mind and really his body. And I want my dogs to be fit until a high age, so I have to keep their mind occupied. Especially Watson is really intelligent. So here my dogs are enjoying a bit of the water. They do not swim, but they love to cool their feet after running. And yeah, they're drinking the water. Please, if it's hot, take a bottle with you and don't let them drink dirty river water if you can avoid it. Yeah, but this is really just fun and playtime for all of the family. What's it got? So we're continue to enjoy our little water play. Here I called Watson back. He disappeared. Oh. And the noise you hear in the background is my laptop. Yeah, grabbing the leads. Never forget your leads. Happened to me that I forgot them somewhere in the park, and yeah, I had to find them. It was not funny at all. Sydney's losing his ball and is conflicted if he should go deeper inside the water to rescue it. So cute to watch, I think. Here he goes. He's so funny. He has such a lovely personality, really. I mean, dogs are so unique, aren't they? Yeah, I love this. I love to go to parks with my dogs, really. here's Sydney running off to another dog, and I call him back immediately, which is Sydney, come, and he comes back. And yeah, this is something I have to work on, that he's not always running past me and then coming to me, but he should actually stop directly with me. And throwing a ball to keep him with me though, so that he's not going to run after the dogs again. Yeah, recall, I think, is a very important part of one of the most important commands that you have, and one of the most difficult. So this is why a lot of my training is building up a really almost perfect recall. Even when they are playing with other dogs, I should be able to call them back in, yeah, letting him watch in turn because he loves it. And you see all those get it, so the search games, they build on the recall, you know, this going back, coming, like going away from me and coming back to me. So here's a short section of just sit and down and back to sit. So just because a dog is able to go from a sit into a down does not mean that he's able to go from a down back into a sit. He has to understand really what sit and down means, and yeah, that he can go from one to the other and back. Okay, here I'm doing mainly the search game, but I combine it with sit and wait. Also for Sydney, you can see me doing a wait here with him, and it's not working. So what happens if it's not working? Well, I just go, I don't say anything, I just let the dog go back into the sit, and you can see me just reducing the distance to him, so not going away like 3 or 4 steps, just 1 step. Now I'm letting them both come into heel, and as a reward I'm letting search and Watson as well. And I'll just continue this search game for a little while because my dog's enjoying it so much, and it just really tires them out, and we have fun. Throwing it again. And because they love it so much, even if another dog is coming and saying hello, which happens all the time, they won't go away. They will stay with me because they're much too engaged in that game to go away and to be bothered with other things. So now I'm doing the sit and wait again, especially with Sydney here. So letting him come, and here he goes. Because my daughter threw a ball, he was distracted. Working with distractions is also a very big part of dog training, but I'm going to show you this in a separate video. I didn't do that here. And now I'm letting him wait. The goal here is that I have a treat in my hand and he has to sit and wait until I give permission that he can take the treat from the ground. Yeah, my daughter's walking in here and out of the video. Okay, trying it again. If it's not working, you just really start, be patiently, you start again from where it did not work, and did not work again. He was too fast. So we're going back into the sit, always back into the sit. And now it works. He should look at me, and now he can go, and Watson goes as well. The thing with training 2 dogs is that a command always is for both dogs. You know, how should a dog know that you're talking to the other dog? So if you give a command, both dogs will listen to it or will follow the command, not just one dog, but both. So you have to consider that. It's hard to separate the training and just talk to one dog and the other dog is not doing what you say but waiting in his position. But yeah, maybe I go into that a little later in another video. and just going on with the search game. Which Sydney is really quick here. So here I want to show you how you can use different circumstances in dog training. We have here like a self-built wooden tent and a trunk, and I'm just letting them search for trees between the wood, or I let them jump on the tree to get the treat, just to make the search game more interesting and more challenging. Because if they have to go in the tent and if they have to try and find the treat in the trunk, it's much more challenging than just to throw it where they can actually see where it lands. So here you can see they have to search much longer, for a longer period to find it. Okay, coming to the last part of this walk. I had a little bit of a ball throwing session before that, so the actual walk was a bit longer, but I wanted to show you this last section because you can see here that there are other dogs in the park. It may look like there were no other dogs, but there have been other dogs, and this is really something that one of the reasons why most clients are calling me is because they want to know, how can I manage my dog when other dogs are around? And my answer is, first, daily training, and second, keep them engaged. Make yourself more interesting. Make yourself more interesting than other dogs and other people. And now you will see how another dog is approaching. And yeah, my dogs give him a quick sniff, and then they're going back and being focused on me. So, okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was one of my shorter walks, so it's a bit over 30 minutes. Usually my morning walk takes about 1 hour, or at least 45 minutes. It was around 45 minutes because I cut out a few things because my daughter was in it too much, or because it was just not that interesting. Yeah, I hope you could learn one thing or two, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And as this was my first YouTube video, please be kind. I know it was a bit of a mess. Thank you to my husband, who actually is not a cameraman but still tried to do his best for this video. I hope I can make more videos. I'm not going to upload every week. I try to upload twice per month, as I'm not actually a YouTuber. I do these videos mostly for my clients, and we are here in Melbourne in lockdown, and I cannot do any training at the moment, so I want to keep engaged with them and I want them to continue the training, so this is why I'm doing the videos. But I hope that whoever watches this video can learn one thing or two. And if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. And now go and play with your dog. Bye bye.